What's up, weebs, and welcome to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. I am, of course, as always, your host, Notorious, and joining me today are Shaun.
Hi.
And Melina.
Hello.
So we're gonna, conclude our journey through the Universal Century today with Mobile Suit Gundam III Encounters in Space, another long-ass title. And then we're gonna go choo-choo through space as we return to the 3-9 on Adieu Galaxy Express. 3-9, another long title. I'm
Very
starting
long
to
titles
worry
today.
that it's gonna be too long for YouTube.
We'll get there when we
We'll get there. So yeah. Do we want to start with Gundam as usual?
I feel
Yeah.
like it's a good start point.
Yeah.
It'd be weird to suddenly shift to that being the second one at this point.
Yeah. So this is the conclusion to the original trilogy of movies. Who wants to start with their thoughts? Okay, I guess I'll start then. It's very much a movie of two halves.
Yes.
More better than two. Like, I feel like
This
for
ones
all
have
of
the best
these,
pacing.
yeah,
I will say, as I was watching them, I do think these movies are getting better and better
Yeah.
as they get on.
I think like when I was looking at my list and like my scores, it's gone 6, 7, and 8. So like the final one matches the score I gave to the TV series in the end, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's better paced than 2. It doesn't hit a point in the middle where you're like, oh god, please just finish already. It is weird though, in that you have suddenly the Zabbies are all just back
Yeah.
after being completely absent in the second movie.
Yeah, because like they come in, they have actual characters this time.
Yeah.
Because you only saw them for like 20 seconds in the first one,
Yeah.
and they were completely absent in the second one. So it was good to see, like, is it Degwin? Is that like the Sovereign?
Degwin's the Sovereign guy, yeah.
He seemed interesting.
Yeah.
Like, he was a sort of, you knew he was a bad guy, but like he seemed a sort of Tywin-esque
The weird
sort of
thing
in
is like
control.
I watch it and I'm like, I don't think he was the bad guy. I think he's wanted the best for, the space people, space noids, I think they call it. Can't remember.
Space citizens.
Space citizens. He's wanted the best for them as like an independent from the Earth,
Yeah.
and then it's been.
Which isn't like an inherently bad goal or
No,
anything.
but then
It's
it's been
the way
his,
you're
his
executing.
family that's kind of.
they're just doing it in a fascist way, which is,
Yeah.
not nice.
And I think it's more been Jiren and like the the kids that have
yeah.
pushed it along that route more than he has,
Hmm.
because he fully calls out Jiren as like being Hitler and is like, oh. Okay, because this is this the third one in a row
Yes.
Yeah.
that we've done.
Where
They've mentioned
Can't
Hitler.
keep getting away with this.
And it's like it's all been different ones. No, there was
Yeah.
two Lupin actually.
Lupin.
Yeah, to Lupin, but like still.
as soon as it's mentioned, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I paused and said to Shaun, I'm like, for fuck's sake, it can't keep happening.
Fuck off, you Nazi ghost.
Fuck off, ghost. Oh, piss off, ghost. But then like annoyingly that like conversation is like extremely important to understanding Jiren's
Mindset.
yeah, because he's like, sure. You're like, oh, you're actually agreeing with this? Oh, this is okay.
Yeah, that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Like Degwin's doing it to fully be like, look, you're being an asshole and you got to stop. And he's like, well, that sounds great to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Like, you're really fucking shit up. Like, this other guy that fucked shit up. He was like, sounds like a great
Oh,
guy
shit,
to
that's
me.
awesome.
It's weird that they call the time that happened the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
I mean,
or the
I
middle
suppose
era.
it'd be the middle for them, wouldn't it? What year does it take place?
Well, it takes place in the Universal
Oh, yeah,
Century.
it's-
I thought it was like middle era, not middle ages. So I
don't-
can,
Middle
like,
Era, maybe.
So that makes. I feel like that makes more sense.
Yeah, maybe. Because I'm not exactly sure what the UC matches up to with AD. Because it does go from AD into Universal Century.
We did sort of look this up. I think
Yeah.
it was like it was in the 2080s. It's like
I
somewhere
think
then
so.
is like the first year of the Universal calendar.
Yeah.
And this is like 80 years past that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like in the
21.
mid 22nd century.
Yeah,
right
mid
now.
22nd century. yeah, Unicorn deals with like the transition to the UC a little bit.
Again, if I'm wrong, call me out.
Yeah, we couldn't like pinpoint an exact date from the Gundam wiki, and that was annoying. But yeah, sorry, I'm trying to think. There was something I was gonna say. Oh, Char gets more screen time.
Oh
he
yeah,
was nice.
he was probably, that whole storyline was probably the better parts of the
Yeah.
movie. Not
Yeah.
well, not the better parts. The entire climax of the movie, I'd say, is
Yeah.
my favorite part because that is just balls to the walls action
Yeah.
everywhere, and it was just a feast for the eyes.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was so into it.
I think this is where the animation gets like the most competent in the series. Like it felt way more, consistent, and like some of the mobile suit fights actually looked like good, not an absolute mess like they have been in the first and second movie.
Yeah, they're not as clunky as they were.
Yeah,
Yes.
They
I feel
actually
like
have like speed and weight.
they're a bit more dynamic as well. I think.
Sure, yeah.
And even when like you could say, oh, that looks a bit shit, there's like a reason that they do it. Like at the end when Amuro is fighting Char in the Zeong.
Yeah, that the base, the space.
Yeah,
base.
he's in that weird mobile suit that like the head comes off.
Yeah.
And like the Gundam, he's like tracking him, and so like he.
I want to state, by the way, the imagery of like the Gundam head just attacking. Like, I mean, I'm gonna call it the white one, even though it's not white, which is Amuro's one.
Yeah.
That one sort of being slowly destroyed. That got to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh man, I've been following this for like 4 hours now.
Yeah.
And now it's being destroyed, but it's sort of undercut by like the image of just this floating head one.
Yeah.
It's like shooting like, is it lasers from its straight up lasers from its mouth?
I think
or-
so. Yeah.
It was like, I can't not laugh at that.
The Zeong is a weird one for sure. But it's like in that scene where I think Char's mobile suit head thing's like up in the shaft, and you've got the Gundam at the bottom, and it like it moves really quick. It's supposed to move really quickly, but they do like the ghosting effect where you see it move in stages,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they like
Yeah.
kind of cut frames of the animation out. I think that looks really cool. It's like one of those
Yeah.
moments to go, this is all happening extremely quickly.
At that point, it's a stylistic choice,
Yeah.
not like a budgetary
Uh-huh.
problem.
But yeah, that I like that storyline with Char. You kind of get to see more that he's a person, maybe not a great one, but
We finally
he's-
understand like what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
His back, because this is the one where we learn is the backstory, right? Like they hinted at it in the second.
Yeah, they
one.
hint at the second one. But this is where we find out that he and Sayla are the son and daughter of the original founder of Zeon.
Yeah.
Well, not the founder of Zeon, because it's explained that Degwin like commandeered the
Yeah,
name
he-
Zeon,
Basically took that idea and
Yeah.
manipulated it into
because their dad's
What it
name
is.
was Zeon Daikon, something like
along
that.
those lines.
And they're Casval and
Artesia?
Artesia. And so you finally find out that they were originally part of the enemy, I guess.
Yeah, they well, not just that, they were royalty.
They were royalty, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I mean, or they would have been royalty.
I think
guess.
no, because Zeon was only really like a political activist. He wasn't
Okay.
like a royal
a state maker or
Nah.
anything like that.
because it wasn't until like they killed him and like established the Republic of Zeon. Is it the No, the Principality of Zeon.
Yeah, principality.
That there became like a royal family type
Okay,
thing.
okay.
That was like established after.
Okay.
Then they're like, it was, I think it was nearing the end where at first the first guy died in the solar thing, right?
Oh, the solar ray cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that-
The first guy died. Someone else took the reins. Then they were killed.
Oh yeah, so you
And
had Degwin who gets killed by the solar ray cannon
Yeah.
by Jiren, who just is so nonplussed by that.
Yeah, I
he
was
killed his
legit
own
like-
dad.
Was he in there? Oh my god!
Yeah, like it's weird that happens and you go like, holy shit, they've just killed the sovereign guy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the big bad, and then
Then
weirdly
there's
for
just-
like the next few minutes, no one mentions it or brings
No,
Yeah.
points
because
to
I
it.
was like, what just happened? And everyone's like, this is happening. I'm like, no.
Everyone's-
Something else just fucking happened.
Everything's just sort of like weirdly calm to the moment where I'm like, was that Did they accidentally put that scene in there and it wasn't supposed to be, or
At
did
first I thought it was
something
like,
glitch?
oh, maybe it's like an illusion. They thought they died, because surely they'd tell me if he died.
At one point, I thought I was being gaslit by a fucking Gundam movie.
But yeah, like, once that guy dies, the other one takes his place.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
son.
Jiren takes place.
Yeah.
His place.
And then his sister,
Kycilia kills
Yeah.
him, yeah.
Caecilius, and I'm like, okay, sure.
That's the thing about this movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one is fucking around. Like,
Yeah.
No, and then I was like, well, you know, sure, she can take the reins. And at some point, Char just pops up in front of her. I'm like, don't you fucking do it. I can't do another. I can't do this again.
No, there's no discreet killing or anything.
No.
Like that.
No.
She straight up shoots him right
this
through.
this
the
is like
skull.
the point where we've hit like pure war.
Yeah.
And like everything's just going to shit.
It's transitioned very well over the 3 movies. Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
kind of, I don't want to say ease you into war, but
Yeah, but I think they take it from, you know, minor conflicts into this is the major battle to end it.
yeah.
And like it slowly ramps up.
You've gone from skirmish to full on end battles.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Like it was hitting like Return of the Jedi like levels of like space battles and stuff, only with giant robots. And
Yeah,
stuff.
and you kind of feel that in the way that like Amro is actually competent at piloting finally.
He's gotten used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Like, one thing I noticed that we have a new character as well. Lala?
Lala,
Lala.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Who appeared, only then to die.
Fucking Swan Girl appears,
Yes.
says you have nice eyes, refuses to elaborate, leaves, and then comes back with the.
Antagonist.
I was gonna say antagonist. I'm not sure if anti-hero or like anti-villain.
Because, like, we had a first scene where they introduced her, and I was like, oh, please don't let this be a one-off thing. That'd be fucking bullshit. If
Yeah.
they're just like, here she is.
See
And
ya.
I don't know what happens. But then, you know, they run into each other again, and I was like, oh, that's good,
Yeah.
that's good, you know.
Then Amro kills her.
Yeah, but
he kills her.
and then he
But
sort
he
of trips out
regrets
for a
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's his new type awakening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's been aware of his new type abilities for a bit, but when he encounters Lala, who's also a new type and is like
She's very
honed
strong
her
as
abilities,
well.
yeah. And when he kills her, a thing with the new types is that if they like know each other well, or if there's something about resonance and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
like they can carry that person and their power along
Okay.
with them. So
We call that a Horcrux.
so Lala kind of becomes like part of Amro's power, and so he
Okay.
becomes stronger through
Yeah.
it.
Because like, I really enjoyed the conflict between Char and Amuro. Like, you killed her because, you know, Char put her into battle.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we can use this shit for war. And I was like, what the fuck is she here? And then kills her.
And she's very head over heels for like
Oh
Shaun.
yeah,
Yeah.
So like he can just sort of tell her to do anything and she'll do it.
Yeah.
So it kind of is Shaun's
but he's
fault.
also
I
into
liked it,
her
though.
because
Yeah.
she's like, wear
Yeah.
a fucking spacesuit, you dumbass. And he's like, only because you asked. And it's like, all right, just fuck already. Come
Yeah.
on.
We know where this is going. Like, I like their relationship a lot, and I wish it was explored more, kind of. Like, maybe have her in the
Yeah.
second movie. Like, I know it's all
Yeah.
pre-made and it's then cut and stuff. Like, I would have liked to see her in the second one, just so we, you know, kind of carry
Yeah,
over
agreed.
knowing her.
I don't think the original series actually goes that in depth into her. Anyway,
Huh.
like I think a lot of what we see is just
Yeah.
it, because I think there's very little cut. Like once you get to the final conflict, I think there's very little cut from that.
Yeah, because that
I
felt
think,
like
yeah.
one big full sequence.
Yeah, I think that's maybe like the last maybe 3 episodes or so.
Okay.
Because like, you know, cancellation, and they just kind of had to end it, so it's like suddenly war, and you're like, okay.
To be fair, for the way these movies were like pacing, I was sort of just very happy for that to just sort
Yeah.
of come in because we've talked about this a lot, but these movies are very long for obvious
Yes.
reasons, but that can sort of make them a little bit of a slog.
100%. And like this is the longest one, but it feels like the shortest one
Oh,
when you
yeah.
watch
Sure.
it.
It's like, I want to say the last half hour flew by, and that hasn't happened for any of them. For
No,
me.
yeah.
Like, the end was always the part where I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Because they usually have the big battle in the middle,
hmm
which, you know, just happened to be like that in the timeline, which is fine. But it made you kind of hype yourself up for the middle, and then you're just like, what now?
Yeah,
Like-
which was, I think, the second movie's biggest issue.
Yeah, that their climax was the children.
Yes.
yeah, these fucking kids, which I'm very glad we're
They were
not really focused on at
barely in
all
it.
in this
And
movie.
who saved the day still?
Fuck right
Yeah.
off. I'm ignoring that.
Yeah, they.
That's like at the very least that's like one little bit of this movie
Yeah.
compared to like
Mm-hmm.
the last third of the second one.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
true.
It's tolerable at that
I
point.
I do love how the film ends with
It's a very good ending.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
For a series that's been very like pessimistic, it was a very optimistic ending.
For sure, yeah.
And then you have the card at the end.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Right.
What does it say exactly again? It's like and now for your consideration for your knowledge of the future, and you're like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I pause. I'm like, I speak this language, but fuck, I don't know what this
Yeah.
means. Like,
'Cause-
so you start to dissect it for my consideration. Okay, I'll consider the knowledge. What?
Yeah, and it's like we're not in the future, and like I get this is like this comes after the original series in terms of production. And like it was a case of oh, maybe we can still make it popular. I don't get it because like Shaun said when I mentioned that, he was like, I was expecting a trailer for Zeta, and I'm like, that would be cool, but Zeta was still like 6 years off at this point.
That was the whole
Yeah.
thing because I forgot because these movies came out not long after the series.
Yeah,
finished.
so the series finished in 1980, and then the films would have started like maybe 8 months after.
Yeah, so I kind of forgot that. So I was like, wait, so these movies maybe it came out like a little later. So maybe this is them going to be like, okay, if you're a fan of this series, you'll know Zeta, and this is what
Yeah.
we're hitting at here. But no, because then you said like, oh, Zeta doesn't start until 5 years after this.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Oh.
huh?
Yeah, because
So there's just nothing.
you almost
Yeah.
feel like this would have been released in like 84 or 85 to like hype up
Yeah.
Zeta's
makes
release
sense.
and
It's
like
pulling
refresh
Marvel.
Yeah.
and like refresh people's memory of what happens, and then no.
It just stops after that message, and it's
Yeah.
like that's the end of the film.
Yeah, because I'm like sitting watching it and I'm like, what's gonna happen next? And nothing. Yeah, and then it just goes back to the main menu and I'm like, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
Well
Okay.
then,
I think it was Tomino's way of going like, like leaving the storyline and the characters with, the audience and stuff like that, and and maybe hoping that something would come from it after that. But I think at that point, like, there was very little precedence in the way of massive sequels to these sort of series. They were always kind of one and done affairs.
because I think the three of us are all very used to Marvel, and every after credit scene will hint at something or give some extra context for
Yeah.
something. So my mind is just kind of gone to expect. I want to see someone climbing from the rubble. Shocker, they're alive.
Yeah.
which it did sort of. I'm not sure if this is me just being completely wrong, and if I am, call me out. But during the credits, we do sort of get like a ship, and that sort of goes away. I'm not sure if that's just the Federation ship. It probably is. But the way it looked looked like it was Char just sort of
Yeah, it
going
looked like
away.
Char. I legit again pause and
You're
was like,
looking at me.
I don't know.
Am I right or am I
It's
wrong?
Char. It's Char.
Yes.
Because that is like one of the very few scenes they've added to the movies, because his fate was left pretty ambiguous
okay.
Yes.
in the original.
Because I mean, I was sort of saying that, like, okay, I know he's not dead because Netflix is now constantly recommending
My
Char's
God, my
counter,
Char's
recommendeds are
counterattack.
fucked.
Sorry.
which are apparently very, very far away from actually watching in terms of like if we're doing this chronologically.
Yeah, we still got 2 other series in between this. I mean, we can maybe skip Double Zeta to watch Char's counterattack and come back to that, because it's Double Zeta concludes a storyline from Zeta, but Char's counterattack concludes Char's storyline from Zeta.
In that case, I kind of want to watch that after Zeta.
Yeah, that's how I did it when I was watching it, and like I went back to Double Zeta to finish one of the character storylines from Zeta, because it's weird. Like Double Zeta was so like poorly received that they just kind of ignored it in Char's counterattack.
Ah, nice.
Like it takes place after, but that's like their most acknowledgement of it whatsoever.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, seeing that sort of ship with like the sort of silhouette of Char just going
Yeah.
away, I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. He's alive.
Yeah.
We're confirmation we will see him again.
because
hopefully.
at the end of the series, that the last time you see him is when he blows up Kaecilia's ship.
Yeah.
Which is fucking metal as fuck.
Yeah.
by the way,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
he's got like a fucking laser bazooka and he shoots her through the head.
Through the head.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately went, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then he just like reappears in Zeta, and you're like, hold on. Didn't you die?
I got better.
I'm good.
I'm not dead.
I'm getting better.
I feel at ease.
Yeah, no one was fucking around in this movie.
Oh, no.
Like,
It was very battle heavy, as
Yeah.
expected. I think, again, you have to kind of go in knowing some things, and then they're the most fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, because I told you about, Shaun Amaro,
Yeah.
the different mobile suits. I forgot about Dozel. I did mention Big Zam when we were talking about the first movie. Big Zam.
Every time I saw his name, I laughed.
It's
Big Zam.
it's just a big UFO with legs.
Yeah.
Like a flying saucer with legs.
But he's Big Zam.
We also had some relationship drama.
Oh,
in this one, which I
fuck.
was
Yeah,
like,
that was another thing I wanted to bring up.
Was it
Fucking Mirai
Mirai?
and Slager. Fuck me.
That it was such classic, like rom-com-y almost to me. I was like,
But here's
What?
the weird thing.
no, it's like I'm secretly married still, but don't
Oh,
worry.
no,
We're talking about
We're
that,
talking
we're
about something that happens
We're talking
further.
about Lieutenant
Oh.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
Oh, that
If-
felt, yeah.
I want to bring up, to finish this joke that we've been doing for some
the
reason.
abuse counter.
The abuse counter. I counted only one this time.
Apart
Yay!
from
But-
the general pain of war.
It was
It was a big one
yes.
though, and it
Yes.
was because I hadn't learned his name yet. I had to look up his name later on, so I've just called him Lieutenant Dickhead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair.
To Mirai, it is like one slap comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
was
not just any old,
Pardon?
like,
a little tap.
yeah, it's
like
like
a-
proper.
It's a full face hand to the
It
cheek.
is
Yeah.
full like a
Yeah.
like abuse ad. Like
Yeah.
you could
like-
expect it to go black and white.
Uh-huh.
And the weird thing is though, like half an hour after that, she kisses him.
Yeah, she like
Yeah,
fully is into him, and
no.
I'm like, what? No.
No. We should not support this, and we do
No.
not.
No.
This, by far the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I legit watching, being confused. I'm like, did I miss some scenes?
Same.
Like, where was he a nice fucking guy?
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's like they forgot that she was supposed to be into like Bright. And she
Yeah.
got confused that she was in with what's his name again?
Slager.
Slager.
Mm-hmm.
So they added that scene and didn't fix it or anything.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I feel like at first I was like, does she do this to make Bright jealous? But then Bright's nowhere near, like, when they kiss.
It also doesn't feel like her character.
It doesn't feel like her
No.
character whatsoever.
No, 'cause-
and then suddenly
yeah.
they're just like at the end of the movie, kind of together again, and it's like
Yeah.
okay. And it's like I know
Okay.
how their storyline goes, and I'm like,
Okay.
what?
Feels like they definitely botched something there.
Yeah.
Maybe in the cutting they left some things out because I definitely just watched them like, sure, I don't fucking understand. Maybe I just always assume I probably just missed something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this one, I think it's maybe safe to say they cut out some stuff with him because I feel like I remember him being in it a little more than that because he joins them at the end of the second movie.
He was kind of a very sudden character for me. I was like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are you? Where
'Cause-
you come from?
Yeah, because he does join them at the end of the second movie,
Yeah,
right?
he
gets on the
does. I
ship.
remember.
And there's like what 13 episodes in this one, I think it was cut together. So there's probably been some stuff with him that's got like cut out, but nothing that I feel like could explain Mirai wanting to,
Lock lips.
yeah,
To give it a term.
give it a term. Yeah, such a weird like. Very much goes against Mirai's character as well.
Yeah,
she's
'cause
not
she's
that
so out
sort
of
of.
nowhere.
The sweet shy one kind,
Yeah.
and to just do that with Lieutenant Dickhead of
Yes.
all people.
Yeah.
Slager absolutely not abiding by the law.
Like she's sort of sweet but like capable as well. And
Yeah.
like she's smarter than this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah. To be fair, like, no, nothing in this is to be fair. Like, I'm slightly changing into Bright here, but into Bright's kind of part of this. He is a bit of a dick
He is a bit of a
Yeah.
dick, yeah.
during this, and like I get he's clearly into Mirai and
Yeah.
but he was a dick.
Yeah,
You know?
like there were better ways to like display, I guess, frustration.
Yeah.
Because like up until now he wasn't always the nicest character, but you could understand he was under like constant
Yeah.
threat of
Yeah.
like losing the ship and stuff because they were constantly being chased. But now that they're on the offensive, it's like there's no real point for him to be a dick, other than, I guess, to imply jealousy, which they don't really do.
It is there to imply jealousy. It's just not very well done.
No.
Yeah, it's a weird
He
part.
sort of seems a bit of like a bitch
Yeah.
about it. Because he's like, you be happy, I don't care, it's fine. And then he just goes into like a huff.
And then the movie doesn't really do anything to address it either.
No.
And I don't know if the series does. I don't think there's ever a part where they like reconcile or like, you know, admit to each other that, oh, I want to bone your brains out.
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Get fucking.
How much you got?
This conversation's devolving.
Yeah.
God.
Jesus.
Bright and Mirai.
Yeah.
The relationship wasn't handled well.
No,
Yeah.
it
No.
wasn't. Any of the character parts, like relationship wise, are just not handled
No,
the
'cause,
best.
like at some point they go to the place where it's like it's a neutral place, and she meets
yeah, her fiance
fiance.
Cameron.
Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
who-
most normal fucking name.
Yeah, everyone has
It's
like
so
name.
different from every other name.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I'm gonna remember that
Like
for sure.
I get what they're kind of going for, because like everyone on the ship has like various what's the word, like not national, but like
International, like
their names are from
vibes.
different, you know,
Yeah.
feel like they're from different, you know,
Diverse.
places.
Cultures,
Yeah,
yeah.
a diverse name, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from around
The world.
the world. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Which makes sense, you know, space colonies and stuff like that. And you just have like the most like, you know,
Basic.
Anglosphere name
Yeah.
of Cameron. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
But I
Amaro, Fra, who was useless in this movie, by the way,
Yes.
but we'll get to the part
Yeah.
that point. Sailor, Bright, Cammy.
like he was the whole. He's just fucking weird to me. He's like, you know, we're gonna be married. She was like, did you ever look for me? Like, you just fucking left me. He's like,
He's like,
I
I sent
sent-
some guys.
I sent people to look for you.
why didn't you look for me? Didn't you want to find me? It's like, but people were looking.
No,
So I paid
it's
people
when
to
she
look
asked
for
that,
you.
he's like, why did I look for you? There's war on. And it's like, my dude.
Motherfucker,
Like-
you're not in the war.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, there's a war. Why would I look for you? I sent people into the war to look for you. It's like, so did you care enough to look for me? I was in the war. Why don't you get me out of the war? But,
There
you
was
know,
part of me half expecting like him to like sacrifice himself.
kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was like, oh, you're right. War.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry you've been in this war. Let me help you. Nah.
Because there's like the full scene where they're like escorting them out of his, it's side 6, I think.
I
Yeah,
think
side
so,
six.
Of their like colony air
Because that's the
space.
neutral colony.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
neutral colony and stuff. And then like you see them being chased by the Xeon, and it's like they leave, and you're kind of expecting Cameron to like fly in and take a stray shot or something that was meant to
Yeah.
hit the bridge, and you're like, yeah, that's typical.
No,
But
he
that
just-
doesn't happen.
He just kind of,
No.
you're
He
like,
just kind of
Cameron,
cries like a little
Cameron?
bitch.
You're just waiting for me to do something, and he's just like standing there like, oh, come on, no, get your fucking ass up.
Because he's not
something.
even piloting the thing he's in, and the pilot's just like, yup, I'm heading back. And he's like, oh, no.
Stop it.
Shame, can you stop somewhere for some food? Like,
Can we go to McDonald's?
go to McDonald's? Is there a McDonald's here?
Can we
much
get a
you-
Macca's?
How much you got?
Can I borrow some money?
Got that gas money?
I expected more for, because I like the dynamic of, you know, technically that's her fiance,
Mhm.
but she likes him, and I don't want to talk about Lieutenant Dickhead.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
We're erasing him from
Yeah.
just our memories
Yes.
for this
And it-
conversation.
I was just like, you know, that's a nice dynamic. Who does
Mhm.
she want to be with? Because, you know, she's experienced war with Bry,
Yep.
and safety she could choose, which, you know, is always a good option.
Yeah.
Safety, like, you know, if you want to settle down, don't do it on a warship.
Stability.
Don't do it with someone who's captaining an international vessel of war,
It's also a daycare.
which is also a daycare.
But yeah, Miura's just been through a lot this
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But she still deserves the best. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to talk about two characters just very, very quickly. One's like slightly more important, and two, I'm just disappointed was like kind of forgotten in this movie, who I kind of already mentioned. But first off, Amuro's dad.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
in this
he comes
movie.
back.
Yeah.
I don't know really why.
And I want to bring up, see when he falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
He dies.
No.
He does.
He does. He actually
I
dies.
legit watched. I was like, this would be like as he was falling. I'm like, oh, you know, this would probably die. But then I'm like, nah, they would show if he
Yeah,
died.
like-
Nah.
Nah, he
That
actually
happened.
dies.
That happened. I was in two minds. I was like, did he just die? I was
Yeah.
half tempted to message
Yeah.
Lee like, did he just die? But then I was like, nah.
Surely not.
That's his death scene.
I made a point like,
God.
if he doesn't pop up again in this movie, I'm just going to assume he died
Yeah.
there. And then I forgot about him.
It was kind of sad to see because
Yeah.
he kind of turned into a little boy again. Seeing him, I was like, oh, it's so sweet. And then his dad's fucking off his nut.
Yeah.
It's a bit sudden.
It's
I'll say.
the way that he like meets his dad and he's like, oh my god, you're suffering from oxygen deprivation syndrome, and then
No.
they just fully brush past it, and I'm like, no, that's not an explanation. Movie.
Movie.
Get back
Explain.
here. Explain what the fuck that is and how it
Yeah.
really affected him. Because the last time we saw him was at the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah.
Yes, where he gets sucked out into space.
Yeah.
But it was very sad to see. You know, you have
Yeah.
a little boy looks to his father, and his father, the Gundam. It's like, father, no, Gundam.
Here, put this in. It's like a dead rat.
Here's the thing though, is it's like Amuro's father was always kind of distant. Like he was never at home anyway.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Considering, like, they've sort of implied that a little.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of like his mother, you know, obviously they left her back on Earth. But like his dad was like fully obsessed with Operation V, which is the project that birthed the Gundam. And he just kind of wasn't ever around for Amuro, so I don't know why Amuro gives a single fuck about him.
Because
Yeah,
dad.
it's still your dad,
Yeah.
you know. And I think he looked up to him because it's very similar interests.
Yeah.
There's a logic there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, he's been in war. I think having some familiarity again. You
Yeah.
know, seeing your parent, you want to talk about the horrors you've experienced, and for your dad to be like, "Look at this thing I make."
I made battery, put it in the Gundam. It'll just make it better. And,
Like-
he's just like looking at it like, no.
This is some garbage.
You
Like,
just
it's-
expect a spring to like pop out.
Yeah. It's just sad to see a bit. You're like,
Yeah.
you know, we all knew he's crazy, and whatever he's
Yeah.
saying doesn't make sense, and it's
There's-
not true.
A bit of tragedy there, but like,
Yeah.
it's
they,
a bit sudden.
They undercut it by having him just fall down the stairs. to
Yeah,
his
in a very
death.
comedic looking scene, and then he just straight up dies.
Yeah.
Because what I honestly thought would happen is he falls down the stairs, sees that armor, threw out his thing, gets fucking heartbroken. That was like, that would be great storytelling because he's still fucking crazy, but you know, he still has emotions.
Yeah.
But no, he
No,
just
he
fucking
just
dies at the
dies.
bottom
Really?
of the stairs, okay.
The only thing I can kind of see it like sort of working, I'm not sure if it's just me trying to salvage it in my mind, but like it sort of shows that his dad's just really pathetic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To the point where not even his son really cares anymore. Like the one person that really looked up to him, but that could just be me trying to say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, again, I don't think this is something that the TV series really ever expands upon. And, you know, he's never really brought up again
Yeah. Oh well.
because he's dead.
Fucking useless.
Who was the other character you want to bring up?
Frau.
Oh,
Frau, who does
is
nothing.
basically non-existent in this movie.
Yeah.
Yup. She serves her purpose. And this movie does not give a single
She-
fuck about her.
From past like the first movie, she's just taking care of the kids.
yeah.
There is one hint that comes out of fucking nowhere, though,
Oh.
of a relationship between her and Hayato.
Yeah, you're right.
And I just want to say that is that becomes a thing.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Well, that was no build up.
Yup.
I don't like it.
I don't know how
No.
I feel about this.
The thing is, I remember that coming as out of nowhere as it does in this movie in the TV series. Like, I'm sure there's
Oh,
maybe
okay.
a little more build up to it, but I'm still like,
What the fuck?
Frau and Amuro?
Very
No.
heavily hinted at that.
Yeah, and it would have been, they've experienced the same things. It would have made sense.
Their
And they're
childhood
the
friends,
the
they grew
same
up,
age.
you know. Yeah, they're
You
the same
could
age.
say it's a trope, but I mean, you're
Tropes
expecting
work.
it.
Yeah.
Tropes exist because they can work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't necessarily make it bad. It becomes bad when you suddenly U-turn
Yep.
halfway through
Yeah.
and then relegate her to like a background character.
Yep. Giving Amuro like no love interest.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I like it, but
Yeah.
I'm also like,
I feel like it
good
could've-
choice by
you
the end.
hinted at it
Yeah.
too much.
And I think it would have given him like more of a dynamicness because he's very one note
Yeah.
overall.
Hmm.
You know, we're seeing him go through the exact same thing in all three movies.
Yeah.
Generally coming down to, why am I fighting this war? Which, you know, when you don't have someone you love that you are fighting it for, you're
Yeah.
gonna run against that problem for the most part.
I mean, Lala straight up like brings that up.
Yeah, there's the full conversation between him and Lala.
Why
about
do
it.
you fight? You have no one to fight for.
But then at the end, he's just like, I don't fight for any reason, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, oh, there is a
There's
lot.
so much
That's
wrong with
quite a
this.
bit wrong.
Because then you're just aimlessly shooting at space.
Yeah.
I feel like the intention they were trying to give there was like, oh, he just naturally fights for good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way they
No.
they say it,
Yeah.
it's more like, I fight because I want to fucking fight.
They do bring it round though at the end where, like, you know, he escapes from Aobaoku where he sees the people from White Base and he's like, oh, I have a home to go to, and I'm like, oh, that's very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a shame that you all go your separate ways after this.
Oh. They worked so hard to get everyone together, and it was such a good fucking moment in
Yeah.
this movie.
We spent 3 movies getting a found family, and then they immediately break up again.
Thanks for the Christmases. I'm gonna head out.
Like all the
Ungrateful
pairings,
little shit.
most of the pairings stay together. Which is to say, Mirai and Bright. For some reason, Frau and Hayato.
We don't talk about
We don't talk
We
about
don't
that.
They can make it work, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not gonna fucking see it though.
You
Oh,
are.
we are.
Yeah.
We are. Can't wait for Zeta.
Say,
At least I hear overall it's better.
yes. Yeah. This is where the series hit its stride.
Okay. Cool.
Good.
There was something else I wanted to bring up, actually. Couldn't have been important because I've totally blanked on what it was. Anyway, let's move on. Let's,
We're gonna figure it out like halfway through talking about Galaxy Express.
Yeah.
We'll mention it if we
Yes.
remember.
Yeah.
So here we go. Adieu Galaxy Express 3
Going on the journey.
the sequel.
The never-ending journey.
Yes.
And
it
I
does
mean that
actually
this
end
time.
this time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it feels like it never fucking
Oh
ends.
yeah, it
at
does
one
feel like it
point.
doesn't end.
That was like my main criticism of the first one, and it returns for the
Yes.
second.
Oh yeah.
Like I think 15 minutes before the end, it starts ending.
Yeah.
And you're like, beautiful shot, credit, nope. Okay, nope, no
My-
credits, nope. Okay, again, no credits.
My immediate closing thought after watching this movie was, that could have worked better.
Yes.
But it did not need to be over 2 hours.
Yeah.
No,
If
no,
they
no.
if they had cut this down to like an hour and a half, roundabout, then I would have probably felt a lot better about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with its questionable narrative direction.
Yeah. I think this one has some not creativity issues, but there's
Right, yeah.
definitely too many
Ideas.
other ideas from other movies. You know, you got Soylent Green, quite literally.
Oh yeah.
You got Star Wars. And a very shit version of Luke and Vader.
yeah, like
Because
I had-
Tetsuro doesn't even know at
No.
the end of the movie.
No.
Okay.
like I had already heard, like, I can't remember if it was from you or like somewhere else, that like Star Wars had influenced this movie.
Yeah, that was probably
It was probably you. So I after like Faust, which is quite the subtle name,
yeah,
Faust.
Faust.
Like, oh boy, I wonder if they're gonna bring up a demon reference. Oh, there it is, right there. They straight up call him the devil,
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
or like Harlon does. or something.
Harlock calls him the devil.
Harlock.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
And
call
again,
him
there's a full backstory with him and Harlock, and they just don't go
No,
into
No,
it.
that
it was-
happens in the final 20 minutes.
Yeah,
In like a couple sentences.
yeah,
But yeah, that all happened. Faust pops up occasionally.
Yes.
Sort of just standing there menacingly. until the end, he sort of sacrifices himself, and he's like, Tetsuro, you were my son, and then he dies.
Yeah. And he doesn't even tell him. He
No.
just like thinks it, and you're
And
like,
as he floats away, my son. I'm like,
yeah,
that you could have maybe, said it to your son.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then like Harlock doesn't tell him either. He just throws the locket into space, and I'm like,
Fucking dick.
what the fuck? What was the
Yeah.
point if you're not gonna have it impact Tetsuro? What is the point in it?
Yeah.
It affects the audience. Yeah, but the audience needs to feel affected through character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you like Empire Strikes Back?
Well, you're sure gonna like this.
We can do Empire Strikes Back. Look.
Oh no, we're doing Jedi, aren't we?
Honestly, by like the end of the movie, I was like, are they gonna rip off Return of the Jedi before Return of the Jedi even came out? Because that's impressive. Actually, with the way Ghost Queen
Prometheum. I
Prometheum.
think, yeah.
I keep wanting to say Prometheus.
Yes.
I know that's
It's
wrong.
a cool name.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool name.
The ghost of like Queen Prometheum. I was like, oh
Mhm.
wow, this was Rise of Skywalker 30 years before
Yeah.
Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
it's still shit.
It's still shit.
Yeah. Like, I think the beginning was where I was kind of dreading it because I was like, oh my god, it's just going to be a war movie. I was like, where's the fucking train?
Yeah.
Guys, where's this fucking train at? I need this train.
I don't know why I was slightly intrigued by that.
Mm.
I mean, we were 15 minutes in when he got the little note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
like, I don't think 15 minutes was enough to build up the relationship with the people he was with.
No. And
'Cause
then
then
5 minutes later,
everyone-
he's on the train.
Yeah, because everyone's like, we'll help you get to the train. I'm like, oh, that's very kind of them. And they all die. I'm like, well, that's not fucking worth it. No offense. I'm not bringing this boy to this fucking galaxy train if I'm dying for it.
I almost wasn't sure if like the people that were helping in the beginning of the movie were like, what was their name in like the first movie? Like there was a whole bandit crew.
I
not the
don't
pirates.
think it was them.
I know it wasn't them, but like I was
Bear in
almost
mind-
like questioning like,
yeah.
are these supposed to be them?
Well,
'Cause it almost feels like they're supposed to be, but they're
Mhm.
not.
yeah, because the bandit leader, like, I had that thought, and I'm like, no, the bandit leader definitely died.
Yeah,
In the
first
that's what I was
movie.
thinking. So I was like, well, what's this?
Yeah.
What's all this then?
It doesn't
Yeah.
really explain,
And you
though,
know they were on another planet.
like, where the war had come from, because it's like maybe a year has passed.
Also, I want to say the like robot soldiers make the
Oh,
funniest
the
fucking
sound
sound.
they
I
when they
love the
jump.
Mario sound effect every time they
Boing,
jump.
boing, boing.
I'm like, surely they're better voice.
I'm expecting like points to come up every time they die.
Because like they angrily jump towards you with guns, but all you hear, boing.
Yeah.
You know what this movie reminded me of? It reminded me of Dragon's Quest. Weirdly enough, that fucking that arcade
Oh,
game.
the arcade laserdisc game.
The laserdisc game, yeah. Fun fact, by the way, this has nothing to do with anything. I just found this a couple weeks ago, and I want to point this out. There's a Lupin laserdisc game,
Shit, you're right. I remember reading about that.
and it uses animation from both Cagliostro and Mamo.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Which
wanna-
has got to be the weirdest, like, because those are very,
They're very
different
different.
stylistic
Oh.
movies.
Yeah. I want to play that game.
I kind
at
of want
some
to play
point.
it as well.
Anyway, sorry, I wanted to bring that up, but yeah, this movie weirdly reminded me of like a laserdisc game that was just playing out normally.
I get that. It definitely feels like there's moments where you should be interacting to make something happen.
Yeah, every time
Oh,
that
yeah.
like Amuro's in like the dark or anything, and he's waiting for that, I'm expecting like
Tetsuro.
a button prompt.
Tetsuro.
Tetsuro. I said Amuro.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
did.
told you this was going to happen to me.
Look, they merged in my head.
Just saying.
Their designs aren't even that different.
They have similar kind of character arcs as well,
Yeah.
I think.
Catch me out every time I do that. It might happen a lot. But yeah, every time Tetsuro's in the dark and like he's waiting for like a noise to pop up so he can shoot them, I'm expecting a button prompt
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that sort of Dragon Quest style, like do.
Yeah. It is. It's weird. It's like, hold on, I'm gonna pull out some notes that, well, not notes, but I had a conversation with someone about the movie after this because I loved the first movie, and I obviously wanted this to be like, a fantastic sequel, and I've heard a lot of great things about it over the years, and so when I first watched it, I thought, this will be good, and then I watched it, and I was a bit disappointed, but then on a rewatch, it was tough as fuck to get through because it's so long.
It is very long.
It's so long.
I think cutting out some parts would have been good, but I'm also like, what parts?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I was weirdly tempted, like, after watching it, to, like, if I put this in Premiere Pro, I want to try and see if I could cut out some stuff and try
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
a better version.
I feel like you could trim the beginning.
Yeah, it's not. They don't
Yeah.
make you feel sorry for the people anyway. You might
No.
as well cut it short.
You can trim out some of the planets that they go to on the 3-9.
I was so happy they didn't stop in Pluto again. I wouldn't have been able to keep myself together.
I appreciate the fact that, like, they acknowledge Pluto and fly over.
Yeah.
And even
They
like
still are doing it to them. Still doing
they're
it.
still doing it. So
We are
Sorry, we're not
all-
on camera. Why are we
yeah,
doing it?
we're
We are
doing the
all-
you gotta do it. So.
You gotta do it, Tom.
But yeah, and even like the ice woman that's on like Pluto.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while. I forgot. her name.
I don't remember.
I wanted
I
to
don't
say Ice
remember.
Queen, but
Name. Doesn't Maytel just call her like Ghost or something like that?
Could
yeah,
No, Shadow. That's
Shadow.
Ah.
Yeah, they even show like Shadow just sort of staring at the train, and then they pass by. That was nice.
It was a
I
nice
appreciate it.
little reference to the first, because I hope, like, oh, please tell me about the first one. Just, I like within a sequel, you can do storytelling of the first without making it sound like you're just recapping.
Yeah.
And I think it was done well because
It does it.
I tend to need that
Yeah.
connection point.
Especially if it's been like a good gap between watching.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think, I think the best way for me to do this is just like a review thing, so I can kind of like just put my thoughts together because it's very scattered.
Go right
And
ahead.
like, so I'm reading from my phone. I'm gonna try and not sound like I'm just reading, if that makes sense. Because I do like it for Tetsuro's story arc. I think
Yeah.
it's a nice like conclusion, and like the way the film ends with the narration, and then like the way the final words come up on screen. That is a very good
Yes.
yeah.
way to like conclude his journey.
He's finally
Beautiful
sort
song
of,
in the credits.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that song
God.
so
I
much.
love Sayonara.
Yeah, such a good song.
I stuck around this time to like listen not to the full credits because I was very tired.
Yeah, I let the song play out and then.
yeah.
Yup.
Final word. Yep, I've said that. I can't really fault the film for its creativity because it does have some incredible creative direction when it comes to visuals and animation. Like when they go to the Andromeda Galaxy, that just looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, like you could put this movie on mute and you could get like a pretty good experience.
That scene
Yeah.
though 100% needs the piece underneath it from Osamu Shoji, who takes the place of, I forget the name of the first film's composer,
Shame.
but I think Shoji brings like a lot more dynamicness
Yeah.
to the soundtrack, and it gives it much more like, it gives it a better feeling across, there is a very consistent feel to the first movie soundtrack, and that doesn't mean it's bad, but there's a lot of different things in Shoji's soundtrack.
I kind of critique the soundtrack on the first one because I think it overused it, because I think it just felt out of place. I think silence in film is very strong, and I think it underutilized silence in the first one, and was
This
just
one-
like, we have a beautiful score, we have to use it, and
Yeah,
I know you feel like you have to, but you really don't.
you don't
Yeah.
have to do it, Tom.
You don't have to do it to
Tom.
him.
That's what the soundtrack releases. For.
Yes, exactly. And I think my main issues really come from like events that just happen for the sake of happening. Because you have Metal Mena, who just does a total fucking 180
In the span of 2
Yeah.
minutes.
a span of 2 minutes at the end of the movie for no fucking reason.
Because
Yeah.
she was a very mysterious character. We got on, and everyone's like, "What's her deal?"
Yeah.
She's only here because we couldn't find fucking people to work.
She's a bit of a bitch.
She's a bit of a bitch, if you ask me. But it comes clear only very late that she wants like Maytel's body.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's interesting.
And then they find
got
out
no
Soylent Green is
body.
people, and she's just like, oh, well, shit. I guess I better die.
No, not even that. She sees all the people get like ground up, and she's like, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
And then Mail just goes, "Well, would you be sad if no one cared about your death?" And that's apparently a very armor-piercing question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's so
after that,
weird.
she completely 180s as a character and
Yeah.
sacrifices herself.
Like, I think just seeing, like, oh, your food, every single piece of food you eat is a human being.
Soylent Green is
It's people.
people.
Yeah, I feel like that should be enough to be, oh, this is so fucked.
And it's not just that though. Like she survives that moment.
Yeah, because she like
And then she just yeets herself off the train at the end. And I'm like,
she
what?
flops onto the train and then flops off.
Yeah.
I wish her death could have had more significance.
Yeah, because she's just like, oh shit, it's sucking up machine stuff. Well, guess I better go. And then it's like, I'm sure they would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, your machine? You don't need air?
Like Maytel's a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Like
fine.
they'd be fine.
One thing I do want to bring up as well, when they destroy like it's not Planet Maytel, what's it called?
I think is it called
Heavy?
Great Andromeda?
Great Andromeda.
Oh,
yeah.
that
Oh,
one,
Heavy
yeah.
Med.
It's
Heavy
the one before
is
it.
from the
Yeah.
first film where they can't go because the atmosphere's fucked.
Yeah, the
Oh.
tradeway sort of
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, yeah,
traders
yeah.
something or other. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Grand Andromeda, when that thing destroys, you see everyone in that city like die as well.
Yeah.
And they don't really bring up the fact that this is kind of horrific.
Yeah.
Especially that
it's
they
all robot people that live there, is it?
Yeah, but they're still like formerly people.
Yeah,
But they're
and
all on the train. I mean, oh no, you mean the formerly? Yeah, okay, no, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like the people who have mechanized bodies were people
At
before
some
they.
point, yeah.
they also make a point to point out there are children
Yes.
as well, like
Mm-hmm.
mechanized little children that are
Which,
there.
first of all, it's a running joke, and like the What We Do in the Shadows world is like it's a huge crime to turn a child into a vampire because they're
stuck.
eternally a child.
Yeah,
And who the fuck wants
Wants
to
to be a child.
yeah. Ethically, just from the start, that's a bit fucked.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like they destroy the planet. I don't think they bring as much attention to the fact that all these people are dying.
No.
Like a child is still a child.
It also then draws less attention to the fact that, Siren the Witch, the big
Oh yeah.
comet
As
that's
opposed-
more of a black hole,
As opposed to our cousin, Witch the Siren.
which the Siren just comes in and just starts
Munch.
Yeah.
just starts hoovering them all up.
Yeah, just like consume.
Yeah.
I must consume.
And that's also fucking horrific. And then she just, it just leaves again. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That's another thing that happens
Mm.
just to happen
Yeah.
in the movie.
Characters or things come in
Uh-huh.
and then go away because like Harlock and Emeraldas do that twice
Yes.
Yeah.
in this movie. They just appear.
Yeah.
They seem so fucking interesting as characters. Like
Yeah.
the way they
Yeah.
look, the way they act. I want to see so much more from you.
I'd watch a full series just based on them.
Well,
yeah,
Oh.
there are because
yes.
they keep recommending it to me.
Ah, okay.
And like just seeing them, I'm like, you're not being used to your full potential for
Yeah.
sure.
Literally, like Harlock and his like ship come in, he goes like he's got your arms crossed or meh, for like a full scene, and then he fucks off again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, when we first see Harlock in this, literally they just pass him by. And it's like, okay.
Cut.
And then, like, Emeraldus just shows up with Maytel after, like, she had disappeared. And has a full conversation. It's like, wait, couldn't we have got that with Harlock?
Yeah.
And then she just leaves again. You're like, okay.
Refuses to
I mean,
elaborate.
it's better than the first one where Tetsuro just shoots at their ship. She's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts of the first movie.
Oh yeah, like ship in space.
Fuck it, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Oh, and then you got the scene where
The
the
JFK
ghost
scene.
of Lee Harvey Oswald just for a moment consumes Tetsuro. And he, like,
Oh,
almost
yeah.
assassinates Maytel for no fucking reason.
Look, so much of this movie is a fear dream to me.
Like, yeah, that's fair. This is like after she's like it's officially known that she's the new queen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's driving to like the Soylent Green factory.
Long live Her Majesty the Queen. I'm watching that like, oh,
I sound like that JonTron gif of like
that didn't age too well.
yeah. But yeah, that happens. She's going on her way, and Tetsuro just sort of like Maytel,
Yeah.
doing that triple animation repeat thing.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think probably because this is 81, and that would have first properly been used around the time the first movie came out in animation and like an anime, and it like had an impact on how
I guess it always looks cheap to me.
it can, if it's used right, it's great. It gives a lot of impact to stuff. But for a scene where he doesn't go through with it, and it serves no purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit cheap.
Because then he just sort of collapses like, oh, I'm not really gonna.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of the parent issues we talked about from the previous one, the previous Gundam, like, he goes back to see his mother and
Yeah.
himself in time, knowing he's, like, his mom's gonna die. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how fucking dare you!
Oh, yeah. Casual time travel.
Yeah.
Casual time travel. They're
I-
just kind
I-
of like, you must experience this. I'm like,
The thing
He's
is, he
still a
says,
boy.
you know, he's going to travel through time, but, like, he can't affect anything around him. So I think he's just, like, living out
ghost?
Yeah,
a
it's-
memory
it's more
or
a
something.
memory machine
yeah.
than anything.
Yeah.
But like the way it's Faust that like describe it, it's like, oh, I've sent him back in time. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh,
you
is
can
that
do
all?
that?
Yeah, I'm like,
we-
hold on, we killed Count Mecha in the first one, and he had the time castle. So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Fucking Time Lord piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good scene. Very good scene.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
seeing him,
that was
like,
good.
plead for his mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
got a-
sweet.
Nice little bit of recycled animation with like the
Yeah.
cavalry, or was it? It was Count Mechon.
Count
like that.
Mecha,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was nice to see again.
I think
Makes me
my-
wish I was watching the first one.
Yeah, I think my only issue with that scene, and this kind of ties into my next point, is that just kind of retreads ground from the first movie.
But I mean, that's true, yeah.
And I think, you know, that's an issue I have with this, is that, well, it is a different film. There's too much of it that feels the same.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
structurally, it's very similar.
I
Because
very
the
much-
ending act is literally just copy paste.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
It very much feels like this is almost like a studio mandated sequel.
Yeah.
Compared to like an actual sequel
Which
they
I
wanted
don't
to make.
think it was.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess it's more along the lines of they wanted to make a sequel.
Yeah.
They just didn't really know how.
Yeah, because the thing with, like, this sequel is that it came out, like, 9 months before the manga ended, and Reiji Matsumoto, who wrote the manga, didn't obviously didn't want to tell them how it ended,
Yeah.
and, like, give it away, so they kind of had to make it up. And so I don't think this adapts anything from the manga.
Okay.
It does kind of feel a bit fabricated in a way. Like,
Yeah.
someone looked at the world and was like, I want to see this. Like, I
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
first one, I want to make this. I'm like, but you can, and you did. You sure did.
Yeah.
You want to have the 2001-esque like sequence in the middle? You can
I
go right
still
ahead.
love that part, though.
Oh yeah, like visually it is beautiful, but like narratively,
Yeah.
it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I'm like, we've been to Andromeda before. I was like, that's where the movie ended last time, and I'm like, we didn't go through this bullshit.
Yeah.
Still a great sequence.
At that point, I just sort of turned my brain off and just let it all wash over me.
Let it
and
happen.
that's-
Yeah.
Just accepted the fuckery.
I mean, we've talked about Faust, but, like, I just don't get along with his part of the movie whatsoever, because it doesn't affect Tetsuro. It doesn't affect
No,
any
it's like-
character.
He feels forgettable to me, not because of who he is as a character, but because of his significance in the story.
Yeah, which
Like,
is
legit.
none.
He's just there. And I don't like that he's just there. Like,
Yeah.
I just
He's
tend to
there
forget
to give
characters.
he's there to give the film an antagonist for a
Creepy
period
boy.
of time.
Yeah.
But he doesn't show up until 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the film has just been aimlessly moving along with, the train. They don't know where the train's going. They're just kind of going along with it for
Yeah.
some fucking reason.
Also, the train can talk now.
And the train can talk. That was
Choo
another
choo,
thing.
motherfuckers.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. The train just has a voice now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Out of nowhere.
And a personality.
And a personality, because it says it's scared
Yeah.
at one point.
It was a nice change, but I was kind of weirded out. Like,
Yeah.
I like the moment where he was like, there's a train coming, but I'm on the right track. I don't know. It felt very Thomas the Tank Engine to me, but I understand that's just going to happen regardless.
You got trains. It's going to happen.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's a diesel engine.
Oh, the Phantom Train. The more I've thought about this, the more I don't like its parallel with some real event that happened in history.
Oh. Am I being dumb right now? No.
A little thing called the Holocaust.
Oh no.
Oh, those trains.
It feels a little too similar.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh.
It's literally a train that travels through space with a bunch of people inside it, that then get
Oh no.
burned and turned into.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Until
It wasn't until I was
Can we have
walking.
one fucking movie? For the love of
He
God.
can't keep getting away with this.
I don't know if I've only picked up on that similarity because I watched Schindler's List not long
And
ago.
No,
I didn't, honestly, I lost a lot of context in this movie, especially regarding Faust. Faust? What? How do you pronounce it?
Faust.
Faust. That's it.
like
Like
the old story.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You don't know the story of Faust?
The story
No.
of Faust.
Pretty famous classical.
Have you heard
literature?
the story of Das?
Well, the thing
Plagueis
is,
the
no, I
Wise.
heard different stories, usually by different terms growing up.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
No,
Yeah.
don't
It's
worry
where the
about
term
it.
like Faustian and stuff comes from.
It's
don't know
it's
the term.
basically
Ah.
where the whole trope of like the deal with the devil comes
Yeah.
from.
Ah, didn't know that.
I guess Faust is also another name for Mephisto
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Who's related to Satan.
Yes, Satan.
But yeah, I didn't really connect the dots until the end. I was like, oh, there's people in that Phantom Train. I thought it was just evil train. Ah.
Nah, we find out that's where the
Yeah.
people came from.
For some reason, like, it's not it didn't fully click with me like right now that was what was happening.
Yeah.
Which has now made that like scene where he's in the station and he hears like
the locket,
the locket
from
so much creepier. 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought that
Oh,
was just
yeah.
a trap. Like they were just
Nah.
mimicking it. No, that was his like body.
that was his body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they're technically alive before in the train, they're
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
'cause
like
they wake up after
frozen
they-
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That train
He's
must have
dead.
great
Yeah.
insulation if they want to keep the
No.
lights.
what is his name?
Oh, the elf looking thing?
Yeah.
Meowder.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think so.
Meowder.
Meowder. Yeah, yeah.
Who
Which
had
I
like,
just keep thinking, Thundercat's character?
yeah.
He just looks so out of place to me. I'm like, who the fuck is this?
I feel like he's designed like that only so at the end of the movie where Tetsuro's climbing the mountain of corpses, he can identify his
Absolutely.
body.
Yeah, 100%. The first thing I thought when I saw him in the pile of bodies, like, this screams anime main character to me. First
did-
of all, there's not enough, like, heft to that scene where he's climbing bodies. That is,
Yeah.
I feel
No.
like, I don't want to say it's taken lightly, but I feel like maybe some stylistic choices would have
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
there. And just, to really nail down the point.
Mm.
He's climbing a pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Also, Meowder isn't in this movie as much as you'd think he would be.
No.
He's only in
he-
it for like one sequence.
He's
maybe.
very
Yeah.
Couple of
significant,
scenes.
but because he's so fucking recognizable,
Yeah.
you kind of get the feeling.
Because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
only there when I don't know what planet it is, but it's the planet where like
Heavily guarded and shit.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
the planet where like Maytel and her mum.
Lived.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maid, I think.
No, they originally were humans by the looks of it, because there's like the castle
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that they
you've
go
got the
into, and there's big
paintings.
portraits,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
again, feels a bit weird watching this after all the events that have happened in the UK.
Yeah.
That was, we decided to watch this way before that happened, though. So that's
Yeah,
just,
this wasn't planned.
weird coincidences.
Unfortunate timing.
Yes, but that I think that's the only time Meowder shows up, because then we hear his locket on the Phantom Train when they're stopped in the final station before Great Andromeda.
Which is a lot more creepy now that
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about
And then, we only see his corpse
it. Yeah.
when they find out Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green is people.
Soylent
It
Green
sure
is
is.
people. Yeah. God. I don't know if I've got anything else to bring up from my notes. Oh yeah, but I think my issue, like, if they had written Faust's storyline better, it would have been like a fantastic call and response with like the first movie, because the first movie deals with
His mom.
his mum,
Yeah.
and this could have dealt with his dad and like the kind of
Yeah, because his dad was a sort of not overarching question, but it was a sort of back of the mind sort of question
Yeah.
that I had anyway. of,
because
like,
you meet
what happened
Harlock
to
and
his
you
dad?
go, father.
It doesn't help that like a lot of the characters in this series look it's the same as each other.
Yeah, Reiji Matsumoto doesn't have like a lot of dynamic.
It's thankfully not as apparent in this
In
one.
fact, I can't
No,
even
this
say
first
that's
one is
Matsumoto's fault, because he wasn't the character designer for this movie. So it's whoever the fuck designed some of these characters.
Yeah, never forget blonde Maytel,
Yeah.
redhead Maytel, blue-haired Maytel, ice Maytel.
Maytel that's on Harlock's ship.
Yes.
Maytel without a face that's also on Harlock's ship.
Yeah.
Waitress Maytel.
Waitress Maytel. That one, okay, that does come down to Matsumoto because he designs all his female characters in a very similar way.
But anyway.
It was better in this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, better in this movie.
Because there were less women.
Oh!
It's so sad, but it's true.
It's funny that you're always the one that says stuff like
Why
that.
are
'cause-
you always the one?
I didn't even think of it, but I was like,
Well, if
yeah, I
any,
did
if any of us
struggle
are going to
less,
say
you know.
it's probably best it's her.
Because the first movie, it was a real struggle. I didn't notice until the end that I was like, this has been better.
Oh. Was it play for the team?
Fucking it.
Thankfully, this movie does pass the Bechdel test, I believe.
Yay!
So this is the first movie, right?
I'm assuming so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Breathe.
Oh, fuck.
Focus.
Focus. Oh. What were we talking about?
There aren't any women in this movie.
Oh,
There aren't enough. Look, they're very distinctable in this movie.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
Robot lady, Maytel, mom that's basically water.
Mom that's kind of a solar flare. That's like the
Yeah.
vibe I get
Yeah.
from
Solar
her
flare's good,
animation.
yeah.
Somehow Prometheum has returned.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Emma Elizabeth as well, but at this point, she's always close to Harlow, and when she's next to Maytel, you can clearly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um,
They come in a set.
Yeah.
I like Tetsuro's design in these movies, but I can't forgive them for making him look like a young Harlock.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I mentioned this in the first movie, but that's not how Tetsuro looks in the manga or the
Oh.
TV series.
I actually did look this up because I think in the flashback he looks similar to how he looks.
Yeah, because young him looks
Pretty so.
Yeah.
I originally looked this up because I was like, why does he look like a fucking frog?
young Tetsuro in this movie looks like the guy that becomes Harlock's ship
Yeah, him.
in the second.
Which
in
was
the first
I remember
movie.
we discussed about this. Was like, was he the father?
Whose name I'm totally blanking on.
It might have even began with a T, but I'm
I
not
think
sure if
it
I'm just
did.
thinking of Tetsuro.
No, I think it did begin with a T. I'm pretty sure they had similar sounding names too.
He also got a cameo in this movie.
He did,
which
'cause-
I that was wholesome.
Because he's like, I am going to shut down for now, friend. Because obviously,
Old
you know,
friend, yeah.
mechanized ship, going to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Sook.
The good thing about this movie is just sort of subtly referencing back to
Yeah.
the first one,
Yeah.
just in case you saw it.
Yes.
So that was nice, but
Just in case you saw it, you kind of had to have seen it.
I mean, there's a chance.
Yeah, this is
In
true.
the 80s.
And they didn't have home video, so I
Yeah.
suppose you kind of,
Gotta remember the time.
yeah.
But yeah. I've distracted the point.
No, that's fine. I was just checking my notes there. I say notes. It was a conversation I had with someone about it because I mentioned this to you guys when we were, coming to the house. I finished the movie last night and my mind was numb because it was movie 3 of 4 that I had to watch.
Yeah,
in
we had a
between-
week.
Yes.
Yeah.
in between work and college and stuff. So like, and rewatching this was like, it was
Apologies,
rough.
by the way, for a bit more chaotic than usual reviewing the next couple of movies because
Yeah.
there's just been a lot we had to watch in
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks.
So like I went into a Discord and I knew there was someone in there who's very into Galaxy Express, and I knew specifically that they liked the second one more than the first one, and so I intentionally said something that would get their attention and had a conversation with them about
Your
it.
opinion stinks.
No, I can't remember exactly what I said. I think I just said like I think I went in when I started the movie and was like, hopefully I enjoy this more the second time round, and then finished it was like, nope. But yeah, to conclude my thoughts on it, like I think there's a core of a really great piece of science fiction
Yeah,
in there.
because I will admit, like when the movie started, I did I was interested. I wanted to see where it go, and I was sort of like, this could possibly be better than the first one.
Yeah.
It just didn't
Yeah.
go in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I think the first movie, I think I gave a 10 out of 10 possibly on my anime list, and this I gave a 7, and like I think that's fair.
That's
you know,
fair, yeah.
7 is fair.
yeah, the
That's
animation, the soundtrack, and the sound design. Like I don't think any of that lets it down, and so it would be unfair to rate it lower for that.
Technically, it's pretty good.
Yes, technically it's very competent and it's very good and very enjoyable, but you know, narratively is where it
struggles.
yeah. Has some great moments though, you know, like we said, the ending is very nice for Tetsuro's character journey.
That Phantom Train station scene is now, in retrospect,
Yeah,
very effective.
Very effective. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's you know, I think we've said our
Yeah.
piece. I think this is like a good one though, like in terms of for the podcast, because I think this is the first one that we've really actually had proper issue with. I know we had issues with Mammal, but those are like entirely different issues.
That was
Yes.
batshit issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
go listen to that episode if you're not sure what we're talking
We're
about.
all critical people, even of the things we love.
Yeah,
we can see
exactly.
fault in things we
I mean,
enjoy.
I think it's a bit clear at this point that out of the Lupin stuff I've watched, apart from Mamo, I love that series.
Yeah,
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Lupin as well.
Because it's just so fun. It's just so nice. But Mamo was a train wreck.
Oh yeah,
It kind of slaps you in the face a bit.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
like, you want to watch this? Fuck you.
It's- yeah.
What?
It sort of insults you for liking
Yeah.
like the other Lupin stuff.
it's again,
Especially
it's another
with Fujiko.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's another technically competent movie,
That's a good way to put it.
but it's
Giant
not it's necessarily
fucking brain.
and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily its narrative, but more its content
Yeah.
and how it and its characterization. Whereas this one, you know, it is very much its narrative.
Yeah.
Characterization of the main characters is solid for
yeah.
Adieu.
Oh,
It's its secondary and side characters.
Like I liked seeing the conductor again.
Yeah.
He was great. It's like the detective in Lupin to me.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
having him be there. Fuck yeah, you're still here.
I love that it was revealed at the end. He's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
I had a feeling like you're always wearing gloves and that you have no face. I have a feeling you also do not have a body.
I always assumed that like he was secretly like a mechanized like person. He was
Or
just
so-
sort of
yeah.
hiding it. But
yeah.
At the end, I didn't expect straight up nothing.
Yeah, because they had a scene where the conductor was in the bathroom.
Yeah,
And
and
Tetsuro was like,
Tetsuro's-
let me in. We're both boys.
Yeah,
It's fine. Which I'm assuming that's not. No.
It's I'd say it's a very Japanese approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see your dick.
I think because they have onsens and stuff, you know, like
yeah.
you know,
It's a bit more culturally acceptable.
Yeah.
Whereas to us, we're like, no, that's
that
still
doesn't
a bit fucking
change
weird.
a fucking
No.
thing.
Your naked ass away from me. Creepy fuck.
But overall, very good, enjoyable. It's very kid-like to me in a
Yeah.
way where you
Yeah.
kind of your inner kid enjoys it a lot more than the critical you.
This is a thing, though. Is like I totally didn't even register this until Professor Who. I'll just give him a shout out, and the other Discord was like, this was a kids movie, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, both of them were kids movies,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, they could get away with a lot in the
Oh,
80s.
yeah.
These are kids movies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like parts of them you can tell, but then they're like bodies.
Yeah, but like I mean,
Because
come
Gundam
on.
was also like on kids' TV.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Mhm.
I'm starting to think anime just doesn't understand what kids want.
You could get away with a lot in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't until
True.
really like the home video boom where it became like the late night slots were the ones you wanted.
Ah, okay.
Because people would record them, and
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
would be more for like wholesome material. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Yeah, I think we've
Yeah,
said
I
all we
think
can
we-
say.
I think so,
We've had a good discussion
Got
on that.
all of our thoughts.
Yeah,
out
and I think I'm glad we finally encountered one that's actually challenged us a little bit when we've watched it in terms of our enjoyment.
yeah, not the worst movie ever, but you know.
no.
Some movies just kind of drag a bit.
Yeah, because like it's whenever we come to picking movies, I tend to like go, well, that one's a bit shit. Let's not watch that. And like at some point, I'm gonna have to go. We need to watch a shit movie.
No one
Yeah.
naturally wants to watch shit.
Yeah.
Unless it's like reality TV or
Yeah.
something, but you're in like a certain mood for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actively going like, no, we need to watch a shit movie.
Yeah.
It can be hard.
Because, but for when you're doing a podcast, you kind of have to at some point,
Expand and not just praise everything
yeah,
and talk about.
and create a bit of balance and have like an actual critical,
lens.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we're totally rambling here when we're trying to end the
We've been
episode.
trying to end this episode like 3 times.
Yeah, so thank you very much for listening to this episode where we talked about Mobile Suit Gundam 3 Encounters in Space. And I almost knocked my microphone clean over.
At least it's better than possibly knocking over the water.
That's true.
Hey.
And
I may or may not have almost did that before we recorded.
I wish there was... Oh, we do have video footage of me knocking water totally onto the mixer when we recorded the first
Not
First
that they need to
episode
see.
was a chaotic episode.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't talk about
We
the
don't talk about
pilots.
the pilot. No.
No. And Adieu Galaxy Express 39. Yeah. I think we're going to figure out how we can cover TV series so we can go
Yeah.
on to Zeta at some point. But I wouldn't expect it
I
until
think we're
like...
having a bit of a break from Gundam.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if we were to tackle it, I'd maybe go into one of the OVAs, one of the shorter ones that like fill in the gaps between
All right.
the first and Zeta.
Interesting.
So yeah, I wouldn't expect any more Gundam until New Year, maybe.
We'll see.
You
We'll
will
see.
see.
We'll see.
And but you'll probably have more Lupin at some point.
Yeah. Because I will campaign for
Yeah.
that when I can.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Well, you'll hear us. I don't know. That sounds weird.
will not
You'll hear
see
from
us.
us.
You'll hear from us next
We'll
time.
see you in court, motherfuckers.
Tune into the next episode.
Smoke weed every day.
Bye.
Bye.